Welcome. I'm Crispy. And yes, sometimes games don't go as expected. Sometimes our best efforts are for naught. And I was feeling discouraged after my in-person game last night. I felt as though things just didn't click. Something was off. I'm not sure what it was. We failed in a lot of areas. There was not a lot of enthusiasm. I tried to bring enthusiasm. I tried to have my descriptions be on point. Maybe I didn't prepare them well enough. I don't like to prepare descriptions in too much detail because the tendency there, just like when I've run modules and adventure paths we all know the adventure paths, the really big ones. I've done those as well. And the problem with over describing things is that players kind of get glossy eyed after a while. Like, you don't want to have that. I want it to be punchy, like a punchy description, but enough that you could picture it. You picture that movie, you picture that scene. You've read books like this. You've had things where, okay, yes, I can picture the actor or the actress in that type of environment. And we're playing a Western themed game, so there's a wealth, there's a treasure of material to draw from, and I try to do that. I'm not always successful, as is evidence from last night's game. But there just wasn't that, like, I would stop my description and there'd just be silence. No one would say anything. And then when people did start saying things, when my players started to talk, they were either hesitant or they weren't clear about where they were. At one point I wasn't clear where anyone was in the scene. I don't know where that character is. I don't know where that character is. That character is doing the same thing they've done the last 3 rounds, but they're just saying that they're just doing this one action again and again and again. And it is starting to feel dull and repetitive and yeah, it just didn't work. So I've been thinking about why it didn't work, and I've been laboring over this. What is it that I didn't do? What did I fail to explain? Why is there a disconnect between what I'm looking for and what the players are delivering, or what they're looking for maybe? I thought we were on the same page. I thought we were all trying to be more immersed, trying to be in character, think it as the characters. But I didn't see a lot of evidence. There was some evidence of that from some players last night, and I don't blame the players. I want you to understand that. I want to take ownership. It's my game table. I take ownership of it. I am the game master. If something isn't working, then there has to be something that I can do about it. And that's how I like to approach things. I don't like to just offload responsibility to someone else. I'd rather take responsibility. And I'm thinking about what I could do to improve for next week, because I really don't want to have a repeat of what happened last night, where it just seemed to be a bit of a slog and no one was really into it, it seemed. Or maybe they were. It just, from my perspective, it was rough. We all have had rough sessions. They're bound to happen. I don't want to give those of you that have been so kind as to follow these videos the impression that everything is always rosy over in Crispy Land. No, far from it. That's part of the reason why I thought it was valuable to put up an actual play where it wasn't that good. It was probably a good thing that I put that up there so that I could see in the mirror what I was doing wrong. Mirrors are great. They show you where you have some, or where I have some room for improvement. And I think that's important. So my thought is this: perhaps I need to go back a few steps and run some brief scenarios, 15-minute, 20-minute little scenes where I just want the players to understand when I say role playing, I'm being quite specific as to what I mean by role playing. Since it's still free, maybe what I'll do is I'll send them a few things to, if they want to, if they're interested in it, to read. Like, read role playing the hard way. And it's not a long read. It's not a hard read. Just read it. You'll get the impression of what it is what I'm looking for and what we're all looking for. Because when we've had brief instances where we were immersed, where things were clicking and players were in the scene and they were describing where they are and what they're doing, and they were quick about it. They were on their thinking as the character, and it's been so good that you just can't go back. And I feel a little spoiled by it. That's maybe why I'm so discouraged. My wife, she's so kind. She's not a gamer, but she knows I'm passionate about it, and she's very supportive. And she watches all the videos, and she had a suggestion. She says, I'm watching your videos, and I think I'm getting a better idea of what it is you're talking about. And then I watched your actual play, which I was flabbergasted. I'm like, how did you watch my actual play? You're not a gamer. How did you sit through that? She goes, it was hard at times because it was slow. And I'm like, yeah, I know it was slow. I could fix that. I know what I need to do there. And she's like, yeah, and they're right. You do say excellent too much. You heap praise where it's not necessary. Like, yeah, that's true. I do that. But then she said, but it seems to me that you need to have enthusiasm from all parties, because if you're really excited and they're not, or if they're really excited and you're not, then it's hard to picture that working. I think she was right. And others have said that recently. They say it is a role-playing is a team sport. It's unless you're playing a solo RPG, I suppose, but I like to play with other human beings, and it's that's, I get a lot of enjoyment out of that interaction with other human beings. And so she made a suggestion. She said, maybe you could do these little scenarios like I described. And so I'm asking for your help. If you could please give me some ideas of scenarios that you think, scenarios from movies, those kind of scenes that stand out in your mind as the kind of scenes that would work well to train new role players. I say new role players. I mean, I have players that have been with me in the same group for 16 years, some that have been playing for even longer than that. But we are doing something very different than we used to do. So that's what I'm looking for. Those types of scenes. Shauner has mentioned one in the past. He likes the opening scene from the movie Pitch Black, which I agree. That would be an excellent short scene to play through so that players can get the idea of what dynamic role play, immersive role play is. I'm looking for others. So if you have one that you've used to help players be immersed, then I'd love to hear it. And my hope is to have 3 or 4 of these that I can run for my next week's game, for my Tuesday game, to help my players understand what it is that I'm looking for, and why after last night's game I felt discouraged. I don't know if they did or not, but I was very discouraged. I felt we had taken a pretty massive step back, and that's after I've had all of them say, yeah, this immersive role play, we love it. We want to keep doing it. It's so much fun. And we're having a great time. And then, maybe something else happened, and it just didn't work out that way last night. So please share. I'm asking for your help. Please share those scenes that you've used in the past that could be brief and encourage players to stay in character and be in the moment. And I thought maybe instead of doing the kind of movie theme route, maybe I could pick out favorite scenes that we've had in our game in this very setting over the last 4 weeks, and just let's go back and play that again. But this time I'm giving you other characters to play. And here's a bunch of characters, and I just hand them out and say, we're going to just play this for 15 minutes, go. And see how it goes. Like that, because I do take responsibility of if they're not getting it, then I have failed to explain it such that they could get it. Because I'm hopeful that they can, with some practice, they can. And I can, with some practice, I can get better. But I am passionate about getting better. I know it sounds I have more of a somber attitude, a demeanor when I'm talking about the game from last night. But it is because I do take a lot of enjoyment from the hobby, and I do want to get better. And it's okay to be passionate about your hobby. That's absolutely fine. In fact, that's probably good. I think if anything out there, it's more of a crisis to be apathetic than to be passionate about something that you enjoy. I mean, that's how I feel, at least. Thank you for watching this. I wish I had a bunch of great, this is great. And, like what have I had in the past? Oh, splitting the party. Yeah, no big deal. We just role play. It's absolutely fine. And I believe that can be the case. Like Abraham likes to say, he says, the solution to all the problems that you're having is role play in the game. The solution to all the problems in the game, just role play. And he's absolutely right. But I need to, and I'm not trying to contradict him. I actually do think he's correct on that. The issue I'm having is that I need to make sure that my players understand when I use that term, what am I talking about? So that they can hopefully get excited about it again, like I want them to be. So, because I'm still excited about it. It's not, I don't have any great breakthroughs this week. This was a bit of a regression, but that's okay. With your help, we'll hopefully, we'll get back on track and get back to getting better at this. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll have another update for you soon that's a little more upbeat than this one. Thanks. Well, we all have garbage games, right? Sometimes. But all right. Thanks for watching. Bye.